Hey guys, we've got a really fun list for you today, and we're talking about car sales because, as you know, car sales have been turned on their head over the last several months because of COVID. So Nathan, what the heck are you doing all the way over there, dude?
Well, speaking of COVID, it's social distancing, my man.
You're so far away, Nathan.
Well, it's better than wearing a mask, and it's being safe.
Well, so in this video, we're going to be talking about the fastest selling new and used cars, and then in the future video, kind of the flip side of this coin, we're going to be talking about the slowest selling new and used cars.
Correctamundo.
All right, so where does this come from, Nathan?
Well, this comes from our friends at IC Cars, and they went through and analyzed 4.4 million new and used car sales.
Whoa, that's a lot.
Over the course of 3 months.
Yeah.
And so this is during the time of COVID, and so everything has changed.
Yeah, it used to be that the average new car took how long to sell?
A month?
No. Pre-COVID, it was 57.8 days.
Okay, that is long.
How about now?
A month and a half.
96.9 days.
Damn!
Yeah. All right, how about used car? How long do you think it used to take a used car to sell?
Probably longer, so I'm going to say 2 months.
50.1 days according to IC Cars. And how about now?
2.5 months?
Yeah. Well, almost 68.9 days. So let's get right to it, and let's start with the fastest selling new cars. Average days to sell, like I said, for new cars is 96.9, and all the cars on this list sell twice as fast because, in other words, half the time. So what's number 10 on our list?
For the new cars, it's the Lexus Gx 460 with an average day to sell 46.1 days. That's pretty good considering how long this list is.
Yeah, I think that's because the Lexus GX is the affordable, big Lexus crossover, right? It's not the very expensive one, it's the one that's kind of the one below it. And it also is very good off-road. So, there's a whole community of people who have used these over the years as serious off-roaders.
Yeah, some people consider it like a luxurious version of like a 4Runner or something like that, but this has a lot more utility than the 4Runner, and it's a slightly different platform, and most importantly, it's got a V8.
Yeah, and it's a Toyota.
Yes.
It's a Toyota. So
basically.
I think, when we get to the other list, where we're talking about the slowest selling cars, I think reliability has a lot to do with it. I think people at the time of COVID are insecure about, having cars break down because you don't want to bring them to the mechanic, so they want something that is going to be dead reliable and solid, and they want something, I think, on the number 9 car on our list that's going to be affordable. So what's number 9?
Number 9 is the Subaru Crosstrek, which an average days to sell is 44.7 days.
Yeah, I think Subaru timed that car just right. Mm-hmm. The Outback became this big kind of, very, not expensive, but, very large family-sized vehicle. And if you wanted to get into something that was just a little bit smaller, a little bit more, let's call it college-friendly, right? The Crosstrek is the one to do. And, they lifted it. They kind of created that cross-country version of it. Just the right car at the right time.
Oh, it's one of my favorite. Out of all the Subarus that they build, it's still one of my favorites, especially with the manual, which you can still, thank God, get it with a manual transmission.
One of the few.
One of the few. Let's move on to a vehicle that we recently tested and were really impressed with, and that's number 8, and that is the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid.
Toyota recently redid the RAV4. It is now their best-selling car. It has surpassed the Camry, and I'm not surprised because, crossovers are having their moment. And this is, of course, as down the center as you can get with a Toyota RAV4. And the hybrid does really well in terms of fuel economy. So you get, a really useful car that's the right size, that got the right gas mileage, that also, is built by the right manufacturer, and yeah, it's going to sell.
Yeah, average days, 42.5 days. That's not bad.
The one that really is blowing up, it's the Rav4 Prime. That's the plug-in hybrid that can go 40 miles on a charge. And for some reason, Toyota, at least at last report, has decided to build and sell only 5,000 of them, and I think they're all sold out. All right, Nathan, number 7 is a surprise.
It is, and it's one of my favorite EVs. It's the Chevy Bolt EV. Average days to sell, 41.7.
I'm surprised. Tesla has taken the spotlight when it comes to electric cars, and Chevy kind of, brought out their Tesla Fighter, and it was a kind of a small economy Good range. I think it's what, just under 250 miles of range.
Actually, just I think over now.
Is it over? Yeah,
Yeah.
They increased it. But nevertheless, it's not exactly cutting edge technology for an electric car.
But it is very inexpensive by comparison.
It is.
Very easy to drive, very easy to park, and I enjoyed the hell out of driving it. I really did, and I think it's a really good start. And bear in mind, Chevrolet is about to introduce a new version of it and its bigger brother, and that's coming in the near future.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
All right, number 6, I completely get. We had a chance to review that. It is, I think, one of my favorite Mercedes.
Yep, and that is the Mercedes-Benz GLB. Average days to sell, 40.5.
You know, that comes as a 3-row. Can you believe it? A B as a 3-row?
But it's barely a 3-row. Who's going to fit back there?
I don't know.
Not Tommy.
No, maybe our little puppy.
Yeah, well, it's still a puppy.
For the next,
Once it grows, it's not going back there.
no, for the next 3 months. You know, that is a great Mercedes.
Yeah, it is.
They went back and made it, square. Dude, I don't know about you, but I think all off-roaders should be square.
I agree.
Just square corners. It looks tough. It looks rugged. And Mercedes went from having these very round cars now to this very square GLB, and I think it's one of my favorite Mercedes. So, yeah, it makes sense. How about number 5?
Number 5 is one of my favorites of the new vehicles because it blew me away, and that is the Hyundai Palisade, 39.0 days on the dealership lot. Now, here's the thing about that vehicle, Roman. It is way more luxurious than we expected, higher quality than we expected, and it drove supremely well. Great car.
Yeah, and it's interesting that its cousin or brother or sister, whatever you want to describe, the Telluride isn't on this list, and I think that's because, if I recall right, the Palisade can be had for just a little bit less money. It's a little cheaper than the Telluride.
Yep, a little bit less expensive. But in terms of a great vehicle, it truly is. It's one of my favorites. I would call it one of the vehicles of the year in its class. Now, speaking of a very popular vehicle, number 4 is the Honda CR-V Hybrid. All new model, but it's based on the CR-V, which is the most popular vehicle in its class, one of the most.
Yeah, the CR-V and the RAV4 have been duking it out forever, as far as I remember. And finally, Honda said, hey, we need a hybrid. And look at that. It's one of the more popular cars on this list. So it was the right move by Honda. I think, hybrids and, of course, plug-in hybrids and electric vehicles are now finally starting to get traction in the U.S. Number 3 is an interesting car, Nathan.
Yep, number 3. Now, before we go there, the Honda was 35.2 days average to sell, which isn't too bad, but this one blows it away, and that's the Kia Seltos.
Actually, I misspoke, Nathan. The Telluride is on this list, so stay tuned for that.
Okay.
The Seltos is, a smaller Telluride.
It is indeed. The Seltos average days is incredible, 31.3 days, basically a month on the dealership lot. That is really quick for a brand new vehicle, all new.
Yeah, and then, like I said, I thought maybe the Palisade would outsell the Telluride, at least in terms of days in the lot, and I was wrong. The Telluride is 25.7 days. I actually like the Telluride better. I think it's better looking. They're under the skin, they're identical, same powertrain, right?
Yeah.
3-row configuration. Interior is very similar, but the Telluride just looks a little bit more dirt-worthy to me.
And from what people have said, it's a little bit better off-road than the Palisade. The Palisade is a little bit more of your luxurious 3-row as opposed to the Telluride, is a little bit more off-roady.
Now, Nathan, are you prepared to eat some crow? Because, we have bemoaned the fact that Chevrolet used this name on this vehicle, and yet, look where it's at.
I don't mind so much. Everybody else seems to. It's a Chevrolet Trailblazer, the vehicle behind me, number 1 for fastest selling new cars, according to this list, 19 days on the dealership
We've made
lot.
fun of it because obviously the Trailblazer isn't necessarily blazing any trails.
Oh, Tommy said it did okay off-road. I mean, if you go to TFL Off-Road, we actually have a video of this thing taken on Tombstone.
Yeah, but by the name of it, you'd think it'd be like a Bronco competitor, and it's not.
Not quite, but you know what it is? It is a sensibly priced, decent all-wheel drive vehicle that gives you some decent dirt road capability.
Yeah, and it's the other thing about it, dude, is it's also one of 2 Chevys on this list, which are the only American vehicles, at least by American brands, on the list.
Yeah, this is not exactly, the powertrain and everything else aren't exactly built here, but the point is that this vehicle is number 1 by a huge margin. 19 days, once again, on the dealership lots. That is really good.
Yeah, and the other thing I'm noticing on this list is that the Koreans are well represented, right?
They are indeed.
Yeah, so we just did a podcast. Check out our new channel, TFL Talk, where Tommy and I talk about the Korean vehicles that are resetting the bar, which they are. All right, I think we've talked new cars. Let's talk about the ones that hopefully more people can afford. And these are the top 10 fastest selling used cars. So let's get right to it. What's number 10, Nathan?
Number 10 is not affordable, but it is the Tesla Model S. And that's the big bad one. Average days to sell, 50.7. Average price, $53,776.
Which is pretty freaking amazing considering it's a big, luxurious sedan. And, you know, I'm not sure how many, competing cars that the Germans sell to the Model S, right? It competes with cars like the S-Class Mercedes, the Audi A7.
BMW 7
Series, right? Those aren't exactly flying off the lot.
No, they're not.
But this car is.
It is indeed. I mean, even though if you look at this list, which we're going to go through, you're going to notice that in terms of competitors, not a lot on this list with this car. So interesting to see. And, you know, once again, it's a testament to Tesla with their ability to sell cars.
Yeah, I think they've just got the buzz and they've got the magic going on right now. And you'll see that this is not the only Tesla on this list, actually.
No.
All right, number 9, Nathan, is, of course, an oldie but a goodie.
Well, it's not that old considering that it's the hatchback. It's the Toyota Corolla hatchback, 50.2 days for the average to sell at $18,602 average price. Now remember, they just brought back the hatchback, so it's kind of sort of a new vehicle, and it apparently is a bit of a popular vehicle when used.
Yeah, I guess, you know, the Corolla nameplate has a lot of cachet. I think it represents good value, it represents reliability, it represents solid transportation, so I'm not surprised to see it on this list. I am a little bit surprised to see number 8 on this list.
Yeah, number 8 is the Honda Accord, and that is very similar to the Toyota Corolla hatchback in terms of days on the lot, 50 exactly. And price is similar too, $18,702. The Accord is a lot more of a higher end vehicle than the Corolla, so it's interesting to see where it is.
Yeah, so given the choice, right, they're both $18,000, they're $100 apart basically in average price, and they're almost identical in terms of time on the lot. You show up, Nathan, to the dealership lot there, and there's a Corolla hatchback and a Honda Accord. Which one do you buy? They're the same price.
Yeah, I know. I would get the Corolla hatchback only because I like the Corolla hatchback, but it has nothing to do with quality. They're both really good cars. I think that people who want a Honda Accord, they're going to love the fact that it's priced similar to a Toyota Corolla.
I'd get the Accord. I think that's a great car, and I think it's suffering a little bit from the fact that it's a sedan, but I would have no problem daily driving an Accord for the rest of my life. I'd be very happy.
Yeah, really good car. Really, really good car.
All right, Nathan, number 7 on the list is also a surprise.
It is indeed, and it's the Infiniti Q60, which I didn't think was that popular, but apparently it is. 49.4 days on the dealership lots, and average price is $30,726.
Yeah, good for an Infiniti for building a car that people are lusting after, even if it's used. Good for them.
Yeah, impressive.
All right, number 6 is a car that actually we owned, and now that I see it on the list, maybe we shouldn't have traded it in.
Yeah, actually, that price is impressive. So the car is the Tesla Model X. Average days to sell, 47.6 days. And the average price, $68,380.
Yeah, I think we probably didn't get enough money for ours. Now that I'm looking at it.
We didn't. We really got to learn to wheel and deal when it comes to pricing with the vehicles we sell.
Yeah, it's, you know, what happens, of course, and I'm sure many of you know this, is when you trade a car in, so we traded it in on the Model Y and we actually got money back, but what ends up happening when you trade it in is you don't have to pay the tax difference because, well, in our case, there was no tax difference. We actually paid more money on the Model X than the Y. And so, you know, in Colorado, that's a 7% number, which is a pretty big number when you're looking at a car at $68,000. So yeah, you can sell it on your own, get a little bit more money, but then you have the hassle of selling it on your own, people coming over. You know how that is, Nathan.
Well, yeah, I can't stand having people come over when I'm trying to sell anything. Tupperware, anything. They just stay away from my house.
Well, you just never know. You
Just never know who they are.
And you never know if they're going to show up or if they're not going to show up.
Oh, how many people flake? I can't even stand that.
I know. It's a thing. All right, number 5.
Number 5 is no surprise, and that's the Honda Civic at 47.4 days on the dealership lots. Average price is $16,725.
Yeah. I mean, perfect car for every stage of life. Done with college, great. You have a family, great.
Small family.
Empty nester, great. It all works.
Yeah, it really is a fantastic car, right up there with the Toyota Corolla. I kind of like driving the Civics a little bit more personally. This is a personal thing. They're a little bit more fun to drive, just a little. Okay, the next one on our list, speaking of Toyota, is the Toyota Yaris, which is at 44.8 days and average price $14,118.
The least expensive car on our list.
It is, and it's also a car that's going away. Toyota no longer builds the Yaris for the United States.
Yeah, which is a shame because, it's a solid entry-level car. I bet you a lot of you out there, this was your first car or your first new car. Once again, Toyota reliability at an affordable price. How can you go wrong?
Now, for those of you who are wondering, the current Yaris that we're talking about here is actually based on a Mazda model, which means it's even more fun to drive, but it doesn't really matter because it's going away. Now, another vehicle that's basically a team effort to build is the next one on our list, number 3, which is surprising, and that's the Subaru BRZ, which is at 44.5 days and an average price of $20,276.
Yeah, I've got a question for you, Nathan. If we're given the choice of going to the used car lot and you can get the Honda Accord, you can get the Corolla hatchback for $18,600 or $700, or you can get the Subaru BRZ for $20,000. It's only like $1,200 more. Which would you get?
Well, okay, I'm a big fat guy, so I don't like to squeeze into small cars anymore like I used to. I'm getting old.
Yeah.
So I would much rather a much more comfortable car, so it would be the Civic.
It would piss off your wife so much if you got the Subaru BRZ.
Even when I brought a few home, when the Toyota 86, the last one we had, when I brought it home, she was in love with it for 5 minutes, and then she sat in it, we started driving, and she was totally uncomfortable. And that's kind of the thing. I mean, consider the fact that you fall in love with a car and you fall out of love with the car very quickly. These vehicles, used ones, it's a little bit safer if you buy one of those, just in case you fall out of love with it.
Now, I gotta admit, I have no clue about number 2. I have nothing clever to say about it. I don't understand why it's there, but it's there.
Yeah, I don't either. This is a car that I think Roman and I rarely agree with in terms of German cars. Both of us don't really quite get this car, and that is the BMW X6. Basically a coupe SUV for God knows what reason. 43 days average to sell, which is impressive. Average price, $40,235.
Yeah, I mean, if I went to the lot and there was an X5, X6, and an X7, the one I would not get would be the X6.
Right.
Because I get it, it's a coupe, it looks cooler, but jeepers creepers, dude, if you want to throw in something into your back, right, into the back of the vehicle, you're not going to do it in the X6.
There's no space back there. And it's just not a very elegant look, is it?
Yeah, it just looks... It looks like, a pregnant turtle in my mind. And it's not just the X6, it's any of those, right?
I agree.
Any of those crossover coupes are just really, not my cup of tea. But apparently a lot of people love it. So if you love the X6, good for you. All right. Number 1.
Carry on.
Number 1, Nathan. No surprise.
Yeah, that's the Tesla Model 3. Really popular vehicle, 29.3 days average to sell. That is a huge leap over number 2, and average price is $44,072.
Wow, yeah, just wow. I think this is why Tesla is valued more than God in the world.
Well, to some people. The thing is that we've had this car.
Literally.
Well, I mean, the people do actually they worship. I know somebody who has an Elon Musk.
Have you met some of the Tesla fanboys?
Yes.
And girls.
Yes, go ahead and write us in, yell at us for whatever. But the thing is about this vehicle, there aren't a lot of changes that happen year to year. So it's basically the same vehicle, other than some minor updates, a lot of which happen over the air. So, interesting way of positioning themselves, and pretty impressive average price too.
Well, there you have it, guys. We have our list of fastest selling new and used cars. And next time, Nathan and I are going to break down the slowest selling new and used cars, so you'll be sure to want to stay tuned for that because there's one brand that, is dominating the used car. And, well, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, don't give it away. Just try to guess what it is. It's going to be interesting.
See you guys next time. Ciao.